Alright, so here we go. We have the negative exponent rule. So right here, this is, I think, probably one of the more confusing of the rules because you're just not used to seeing a negative go away and you just moving something into the denominator or vice versa. But the rule is actually pretty simple. So if we have a base raised to a negative power, we can get rid of that negative. All we have to do is, if it's in the numerator, we need to put it into the denominator. If it's in the denominator, we need to move it up to the numerator. So right here we had a raised to a negative n. The negative went away and it just moved to the denominator. So let's do an example of that. So if I had x raised to the negative 2, this is just equivalent to saying 1 over x squared. That's really all this rule is. If you have a negative, if it's in the top, put it in the bottom. If it's in the bottom, put it in the top. So right here, let's do one. If I had y, or 1 over y to the negative third, all I need to do is just move the y to the numerator and lose the negative. So that's it right here. This, like I said, is one of the more confusing ones, rules for exponents or properties of exponents for students to understand or not to mess up on. So right here, let's do another one. So if I had 3 over w to the negative 2, right here, to get rid of this negative, all I have to do is move the w into the numerator. If it's in the denominator, move it to the numerator. So 3w squared. That 3 was not raised to any negative power. A lot of times students will, for some reason, just flip-flop them. The 3 will end up in the numerator, in the denominator, in the bottom of the fraction, and it shouldn't be there because it was not raised to a negative power. So let's go ahead and do another one. So how about if I had 1 over 4, let's see, z raised to the negative 3. So right here, if for some reason I wanted to get rid of this negative, all I would have to do is move it into the numerator. So I'd be left with z to the third power over 4. That 4 did not have a negative power attached to it. It just stayed where it was. It doesn't need to go anywhere. Let's do one more. Let's do one maybe where they both move. So we have one right here. This is raised to the negative 1 over x raised to the negative 100. It doesn't matter how big or small the exponent is. You can still just move it and lose the sign. So right here, these would just flip-flop. I would just have x raised to the 100 divided by 3. In this case, the 3 had a negative exponent and it just moved to the bottom. So let's do one more. So what if I had 3 raised to the negative 4 over x squared, or times x squared, times y to the third, or to make it negative third, over 2 z raised to the negative 1. So right here, this problem looks difficult. If you were asked in your class to just get rid of all the negative exponents, it's not as difficult as you're making it out to be. So right here, let's just take it one variable or one base at a time. So right here, I have 3. Does it have a negative? Yes. So I can just move it into the denominator. So I just say 3 to the 4th. The negative went away when I moved it. So right here, I have x squared. It's not going anywhere. It's got a positive, so I can't move it anywhere. And we just want all positive exponents, so it stays right there. So right here, we have y raised to the negative 3, or to the third power. So we need to move that down to the bottom to get rid of the negative. It went away. So let's go down here. So we have a 2. So then we'd have 2 right here. And the 2 didn't move. It didn't have a negative exponent, just like before. So right here, then the z would just go to the top. And we are accustomed just to not writing the power rate, 1 power to 1 power. So that would be it. That would be your simplification. I could actually simplify it more by actually raising 3 to the 4th power and then combining it with a 2 or multiplying them together. So let's just see, what's 3 raised to the 4th? We'd have 81. So if I wanted to simplify it more, I could say I'd have x squared z over 81 times 2, so I'd have 162 y to the third. So that would, you don't, I mean, it's probably better mathematics to go ahead and simplify this, but you just have to make sure that you understand what you're doing. These are just getting multiplied together, and these are just numbers. This 3 raised to a fourth is just a number. 2 is just a number. The variables, we don't have numbers to represent them yet, so they just need to stay as variables.